Hi all, welcome to session 33 of Azure Data Factory. In the last session, we used lookup activity to read a configuration file, and based on that, we ingested the files from Azure Data Lake source to sync locations. Okay, so in today's session, we are going to take a look at what are the various limitations that are present in the lookup activity. So if we see the limitations, there are mainly two limitations. The first one is we can at max get first 5,000 rows from any lookup activity, or we can get the 4 MB size of data. Okay, so if your data size is more than 4 MB, it is going to give you first 4 MB worth of data, and after that it is going to skip the remaining part. Similarly, if your file that you are reading or the data set that you are reading in lookup activity has more number of records, it is going to give you first 5,000 records. The way to work around these problem is that you define two pipelines. The outer pipeline is going to loop over the inner pipeline. So every time the outer pipeline executes, it is going to call the inner pipeline. It's like nested for loop. Okay, so in the nested for loop, what you will do, you will call the outer for loop, which will turn will call the inner for loop. So that is how Microsoft suggests to overcome these challenges. But these challenges don't come in your way in day-to-day work in Azure Data Factory, because the size of the data that lookup activity can pull for you is pretty big. So most of the use cases are covered in these two things. So limitation is not going to be a daily problem for you. Okay, so let's just test out these limitations just for our understanding. So right now I'm in my Azure Data Factory studio, and if you just go and check the pipeline that we created yesterday, that is PL lookup basics. So in this we have a lookup activity, and this lookup activity is reading an Excel configuration file. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clone this pipeline, and I will make changes to the cloned pipeline. Okay, so let me just rename it limitation. Okay, I'm going to remove the filter and copy because I don't need these two activities. I am only interested in the lookup activity. Okay, now let me just download a dummy CSV file with more than 5,000 rows. Okay, yep, I think this should be good. Let me download this one. Okay, it's downloaded. Let me go to downloads. In the downloads I see the zip file. Let me just extract it. Okay, I think there is some issue with the zip file. Let me refresh it. See one more time whether it is okay. It was unsuccessful. Remove it. Hmm. I think this zip file is corrupt. Let me just try downloading the unzipped version. I'm pausing the video. I will get, I think it is pretty fast. Okay, it's downloaded. Awesome. Okay, so let's just explore the CSV file that we have. So it has 100,000 records. Okay, with index and all that. Cool. So we are good to try the limitations of lookup activity. So customers 100k. Let me go back to my data factory resource group. I will just upload this CSV file in sync or in the source, sorry. Now let me go to source. Okay, I'm going to use this configuration only. Let me just delete it and upload. Okay, it's successful. Now let's modify our lookup activity in the cloned pipeline. I'm going to use the existing ADLS dataset. Okay, let me see. Yeah, so it is comma delimited. You have row delimiter, everything. First row as header. Awesome. So I can reuse this dataset for the testing purposes. So I'm going to use source as my container. Configuration is the path directory nation and customers underscore 100k dot csv. Okay, let's see whether the data is available to us or not. Yep, data is available. Okay, everything is looking good. Now let's just debug. I think I have to remove this parameter. I don't need it. Let's run debug. Succeeded. Let's check the output. As you can see, it is giving me first 5,000 records. Okay. Now if you have observed, it is taking a little bit extra time to get me this output because the kind of payload that lookup activity has for me is pretty big. So number of records are 5,000, so that is why it is taking a little bit time. Similar is going to be the case with the data size limitation. Okay, so either it is going to give you the first 5,000 records if the size is less than 4 MB, or it is going to give you first 4 MB worth of data, whichever comes first. Okay, now let's just explore what are the different kinds of sources from which we can pull the data in the lookup activity. Okay, so in order to explore that, you go to general section, click on learn more. It is going to open the Microsoft Learn page for the lookup activity. And if you go into the uh, lookup activity, I think, let me supported capabilities. Yes, so in the supported capabilities, if you see, so there are four main categories of sources that you can use with the lookup activity. The first one is Azure sources. So Azure sources, we have explored Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. We can have other sources as well. I will try to give demo on 2 3 more data sources. Okay, so technically I will tell you how these sources are different. So lake storage gen 1, lake storage gen 2 and storage, these are the ADLS, that is data lake, where the data is stored in files. Okay, then you have Cosmos DB for NoSQL, and you have table storage. These two are the NoSQL databases. Okay, and other than that, whatever else is remaining, like they are the relational database. Other than this Azure Data Explorer, it's also a NoSQL database where the query we query the data using KQL, custom query language. Okay, so we will explore a couple of more sources here. Similarly, I will explore 2 3 more sources from the database, whatever I can cover. And for the remaining things like file and generic protocol and services and app, these are rarely used. Like I think if you see, most of the sources for the services and apps are enterprise applications like Jira, you have Oracle, PayPal, SAP. So these are the things which you cannot demo or practice on your personal laptop, because these are the high paying, high license cost softwares. So I have not seen much of the use of these sources in the lookup activity. Maybe they are used, maybe they are not, but most of the time it is either a database or a file that you are going to encounter in the lookup activity. Okay, so you can just go through this documentation. I will just paste the link to it in the description of the video. Okay, and this is going to be all for now in the lookup activity. We are going to cover the lookup activity in detail after we are done with the introduction of all the activities in the Azure Data Factory. But right now, this is going to be the end of the session for lookup activity. Okay, so I hope you liked the video. Please like, share and subscribe, and please let me know if you need anything else added as part of the content, so that I can work on it. So let's meet in the next session. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye bye.